Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Wisdom Wednesday. My name is Kristen Gear. I am the Director of Operations and one of the Managing Directors for BNI Arizona. And every single week, I come to you providing a weekly education nugget called Wisdom Wednesday that counts as one chapter education unit for watching. So happy June, everybody. Can't believe we are in June already. So much amazing stuff is going to be happening over the next couple of months. We have leadership and support team transition time coming up. So in one of the future Wisdom Wednesdays, potentially next week, so stay tuned, I will be going over the whole process from start to finish, all around leadership transition. So guys, member extravaganza. So it hasn't completely fully stopped yet. Now the date for the applications to come in has ended. So June 3rd was the cutoff date for any new applications to be considered towards member extravaganza. However, we have a lot of pending applications still in the system that our membership committees are feverishly processing. And so we are giving the membership committees until the end of next week to process any last applications that came in before the cutoff date for member extravaganza. So we want to make sure to get all of those processed, but also get their payments in so that way they can count. So once someone has their application submitted, then they've paid, then their name gets put on the list for member extravaganza and sponsor gets credit for the membership. So that's the biggest thing that we want to keep in mind. If you think that something's in limbo, a lot of times it's the payment portion that we're just waiting for it to come through. So that way we can get everything finalized in the system. So another update, BNI is one of the sponsors for an upcoming event called Disruption Day next Friday. So it is a big real estate event, guys. If you haven't heard of it and you're in the real estate field, make sure to check it out. There's a lot of keynote speakers that are going to be talking about all amazing topics. I'll be there all day long. So make sure to come visit me next week. The website to check out the event is disruptionday.com. So super easy. And presentation takes your visibility to the next level within BNI. Everything kind of stays status quo until you give your 10-minute presentation, and then things just blow up from there. So you want to make sure that your 10-minute feature presentation is super prepared, but that you also plan for it as well. So here's a couple tips, guys. I'm going to go through this planning document so that way you can get an idea of what to include in your feature presentation and who to invite to your feature presentation. That's even more important because we want to fill the room. Like, that's your big day. It should be a huge event. So you want to make sure that your friends, your clients, some visitors, amazing visitors, even potential power partners are in the room to hear your feature presentation. So now I'm going to go through this feature presentation planning document so that way it can help you prepare for your big day. So some of the things to start to think about is writing down some reasons why the feature presentation is important for you and your business. And I already touched on one of them is it completely changes your visibility within your BNI chapter. So now that we are live in Wisdom Wednesday, what are some of the reasons that you guys love to give your feature presentation in your chapter meetings? Put some comments down in the chat. I'd love to hear some of the reasons why you guys love to give your featured presentation, and maybe even some of the amazing things, different topics that you guys like to incorporate, maybe if it's something unique as well. So one of the things that I love when members share in their feature presentation is their why. I love the book by Simon Sinek, Start with Why, because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And it's super powerful for someone to learn really the ins and outs and the true meaning behind really why you do what you do and why you're so passionate in your profession. Share your heart in your presentation. It goes a long way. Being vulnerable in that feature presentation, not a lot of people love to be vulnerable in front of a group of people, but that's how we can personally connect with you on a totally different level. So if you are able to, I highly recommend to really share your passion and the true why behind what you do. The next thing that we want to do to prepare for our feature presentation is to get together about 10 to 15 names of clients, friends, family that you want to invite to hear your presentation. Now, there's going to be also another piece of the top 5 professions that you want to invite to your presentation. Now, with these top 5 professions, I highly recommend that you share them with your chapter members, because you never know who in the room might know someone in those top 5 professions, especially if they are not already represented in the room in your chapter. That would be huge. What an amazing opportunity would it be for your key power partner to be in the room to hear all about you and your business and how you stand out apart from your competition. Let's make sure that we really help each other out when it comes to filling the room with the right people. Now, having clients, friends, family to invite to the presentation, that gives you that personal support as well when it comes to your feature presentation. And when you invite clients, they give amazing testimonials during the referrals and testimonial section, since they have already personally worked with you. Bring in people that can give live testimonials about your business would create such a huge positive impact for your visibility within the chapter. The next thing is going to be talking about all of the different pieces of the feature presentation. So it gives you a breakdown. Now, this minute by minute breakdown could be different depending on your chapter size, because some chapters have a 10-minute presentation and some chapters have a 7-minute presentation. So just depending on how long your presentation is for your chapter would determine what you would need to adjust in each one of these sections. But at least this will give you an idea, an overall idea of what to include in your presentation. So the first 1 to 2 minutes, it should begin with your story, include information about your company. Now, a lot of the introductions that our secretary treasurers do for our feature presentations include a lot of the personal information. So I definitely wouldn't include like half the presentation all personal information, because they're going to hear a lot of it in the intro, and then if you share a few pictures and your story, that would be perfect in the very beginning. So this document gives you space so that way you can jot down notes for each of the sections as well to help you prepare for your big day. So after the introduction, then you're going to come to the body. So this will be about 4 to 6 minutes of the main section of the meeting. So here's a couple bullet points of things to include in the body of your presentation. So 1, a story about a client with a problem that you helped solve. Include the type of company or client it was, what the problem was, and how you solved it, and what those end results were. And with that type of thing, then we're painting a picture in each other's mind of that ideal referral, right? To send over to that person. Because if we know someone that's going through that same situation, that would be an easy introduction, because you just explained how you helped solve their problem and what the end result was. Another little tip would be to include doors you would like to open, or people and companies you're looking to work with. So what connections, what referral sources can we pass on to you to help you grow your business? We could include 3 types of referrals that you're currently seeking, or things that members can listen and look for. That way we can make an easy introduction, because remember, guys, we're not a leads organization, we're a referral organization. So the more that we can learn all about those things to listen and look for, that would be the perfect opportunity to keep educating us all about your business. And then also share what members can say to bring you and your products or services into conversation. So whether there's some supplemental material, if you have a power partner in the chapter that sees the same target market that you currently work with, what types of things can we help with bringing up your products and services in front of those target market people? So you want to choose 2 of these items, because if we include too much, it's going to go way past that 4 to 6 minutes, right? So one of the biggest things with the feature presentations is we don't want to include a laundry list of every single thing that we do, because then we're going to run out of time. Plus, you're going to have more than one opportunity to give your feature presentation within your chapter. So save more of that information for the next one. But you can also use little bits of the information that you didn't cover in your weekly 30 to 60-second presentations every single week as well. So even with those little short weekly presentations, we want to be as specific as possible, so that way we're continuing to work to get more and more specific referrals. So once you've created the body, then you want to work on the conclusion. So this is kind of the wrap up and your call to action, because we always want to make sure that we're asking for that specific referral or connection at the end. I know that many members ask for testimonials or reviews for their business. So whatever you are currently working on, we want to make sure that we have a call to action at the very end and be specific as possible about the referrals that you want. And after your feature presentation is done, guys, make sure one of the big not to do's for feature presentation is to open it up for questions. The reason for that, guys, is because of timing. So we want to make sure, and that's one of the reasons. I'll share another reason as well. But with timing, our presidents, one of their responsibilities is making sure that the meeting starts and ends on time. Sometimes when we open it up for questions, and depending on the dynamic of the question and what type of answer that question needs, it could be more involved than just a short, quick question, which would then drag on your 10-minute presentation to about 15 to 20 minutes. And the meetings do not have enough time in the agenda for that to be allotted. So we always want to make sure that at the very end of a presentation, we wrap it up and encourage members to set up a one-to-one with you if they have additional questions. That way you can go into a one-on-one conversation and have it be more personal about the specific questions that they have about you and your business. So don't open up for questions at the end. Make sure that we are setting up those one-to-ones to have those conversations. Plus, that increases our one-to-one numbers. And with having those personal conversations, you never know when a referral might turn out from that question and one-to-one as well. So here is the full document. So that was the last piece of it to wrap it up with your conclusion and your call to action. If you have any questions about this, definitely let me know. I know that there have been several members that have switched up the rotation. Some people have started with their business information and ended with their personal story. So whatever creates the most flow for you, want to make sure that you practice your feature presentation so that we can get the timing on point. The worst thing is when we have such a dynamic presentation and the timer goes off because we ran out of time. So we want to make sure that we practice, we're within the time frame, so that we can create a very dynamic presentation for that, your big day, because that is really a big deal and creates a lot of positive visibility for you and your business. So if you have any questions about this, definitely let me know. Like I mentioned, I'm going to include a copy of this document on the BNI Arizona official group page, so that way everyone has a copy of it. And either reach out to myself or Carolyn if you have any additional questions. And like I mentioned, we're going to talk about all of the leadership and support team transition next week, guys. Woo! Already. So I'll go over the entire process during next week's Wisdom Wednesday. Looking forward to all of that. And remember, guys, record one, Chapter Education Unit for watching today. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.